All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, October the 24th, 2022. I am recording this about an hour in advance. I have to pre record it today because I'm not going to be actually available at 5 today. Um, but, and then tomorrow, just so you know, tomorrow I'm pre-recording because tomorrow is my baby girl or my firstborn daughter, but they're both my baby girls. My daughter Cassini will be 17 tomorrow, so tomorrow is her birthday, and so I will be pre-recording tomorrow so that I can be fully focused on that in the evening on spending time with my little girl. Hello to everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. The Yankees are out. They got swept by the Houston Astros. And so at least the pain is over. The hope is over. They're done. And so now it's Houston against the Phillies. And boy, I don't know. I don't like either of those teams. So, um, so somebody's going to win it. All right. Well, today we're going to be in the Psalms again. And I've titled today's Daily Manna, Preparing for the King's Return. We're going to be looking at Psalms 24, 114, and 144. And typically when you hear that, right, you hear preparing for the King's Return. And obviously we're focusing on, when you hear that, you focus on the return of Yeshua when he comes to take us home. And that's good. But the question is between now and then, is preparing for the return, preparing for the presence of the Lord would be maybe more the idea. Where's my heart? And do I recognize, we recognize he's king of the universe, right? Blessed are you, O Lord our God, king of the universe. But do I recognize him on a day-by-day, moment-by-moment basis as king of me? King over my life, over my decisions, ruler, Lord over me? Or do I continually, sneakily try to take back the throne of my own heart? Do I try to co-rule with him, like to sit on the throne, like, hey, can we sit here together and like rule together so you get what you want, but I'd really like what I want too? Or do we give the throne of our hearts to him because I'm his, not my own? Do I recognize whose I am? The last couple years have been so challenging on so many levels for me. I mean, coming through 2020, when we went through when the Lord called us to sell our building, I don't know if I can convey to you what a difficult decision that was for me. What a painful decision that was for me. And I think I really wrestled with it. I knew long before I announced it, I was wrestling. I didn't want to. I was trying to work out, Lord, how can I have what I want and you have what you want? And I was sort of heels up, digging in a little bit. And there have been moments even since then that I'll be wrestling with the Lord as he calls me to do different things or to lay down things that I want to hold on to, and where I go, okay, haven't I done enough already? I mean, I'm just confessing that I've been in those places. I wrestle through that, and the thing that attitude reveals is that I'm not in those moments. First of all, that I'm still wanting to be the ruler of my own life, my own domain, my domain, rather than recognizing it's his dominion, and that I'm in submission to him. And that in those moments that I can acknowledge with my mind, you are king, Lord. I'm in submission to you. But isn't that enough? Isn't that enough? And he is to be Lord of all of me. And when he says, do this, I say, okay, yes, Lord, you are king. I trust you. You are not just king. You're a good king. You're a brilliant king. You're a wise king. I trust you. Psalm 24 is this psalm about the arrival of, it's twofold. It's us as people arriving into the presence of the Lord, but really it's more so about his arrival. The king is coming, and so it opens up by saying the earth is the Lord's. The earth is Adonai's, listen, and all that fills it. The world, and that world is more a cosmic level. It could be even the universe, but the world and those dwelling in it. So this opening verse is a recognition that when the Lord shows up, so it's all his. He's not coming in as an invading conqueror, but as the creator, a redeeming creator is who he is. Taking back what was all, redeeming, restoring what was already his, what he made, every part of it. The earth is the Lord and the fullness of it, the abundance of it, right? And all that is in it, which includes me. And the world and all those dwelling in it. I'm his, yours, you are his. And so again, when the Lord shows up, it's not the hostile act of an invader, but the redeeming act of a creator. And so I have to recognize I don't have claim over me, and yet I keep trying to take claim over me. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness of it. The whole universe, right? And everyone dwelling in it. The world and those dwelling in it. Why? Because verse 2, Kihu, because he established it upon the seas. Right? You say, what can you build? He established, or he founded it upon the seas. He established it. He secured it, made it stable upon the rivers. So you have this picture of early creation. You have the picture of the creative, of what's described in Genesis. And that you have the chaos of the seas that he made firmness upon. Right? And so things are moving from chaos into order. And he is Lord of all. He's the one because he's the one who established it. He's the one who brought firmness to it. And you even have that he established it upon the rivers, this imagery even of Eden, right? With the 4 rivers going forth from Eden. So verse 3 then, who may go up? Who may ascend the mountain of Adonai? Who may stand up in his holy place? So now it zooms in from, okay, it's all his. Now who can enter into his presence, into his holy place? It says in verse 4 here, one with clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul in vain. I'm just curious, is that coming through? Like someone is like revving outside. Now they stopped revving. Okay. Anyway, let me back up because I couldn't think clearly because someone's outside. Like it sounds like they're out in front of my house with a motorcycle just revving it. Yeah, we're doing that earlier today. It's annoying. Okay, sorry. All right. So who can enter into his presence? Well, it has to do with not just the actions that I have, but the place from which those actions flow. Right? That it's one with clean hands and a pure heart, not one or the other, but the totality of me, who has not lifted up the fullness of me. not part of me, the fullness thereof, right? I'm his. The fullness of me is his. All of everything in this world and everything in me, I'm his. So to be in his presence, I have to be fully his. One with clean hands, one with a pure heart, one who has not lifted up, who has not raised his soul in vain, nor sworn deceitfully. Right? So it's not just about someone who has not told lies or made false oaths. This is an imagery, the image of that points back to even who doesn't lift up the name of the Lord in vain, who does not lift up his soul, his being in emptiness. Right? This is about how we bear the name of the Lord here. I'm fully his. How I carry the life of the Lord in me as a representative of what he is about. Who can enter into his holy place? Well, he wants all of me because I'm his. And again, it's not a hostile act. We're scared. No, wait. How dare you demand that I have all of you, that you have all of me, rather than saying you are a good king and you are trustworthy. And I want to give you my hands and my heart and the fullness of it, and not just come to you with lips that are saying something, not lifting up my life in emptiness. Here I am, but not really being there. Right? Not making oaths, not speaking forth with deceit, because he is true. The one who comes to him with the fullness of who we are, with the totality of ourselves, and says, I'm yours. Verse 5 says, he will receive a blessing from Adonai. He will receive righteousness from God, his rescuer, his salvation, his deliverer. Right? The one who does not lift up his soul to emptiness will instead, the word for receive here is lift up. Will lift up, will raise up a blessing from the Lord as we walk in his character, right? And then what we receive from him, what we lift up is a blessing from the Lord. Righteousness from God, his salvation, right? Righteousness that's received from him. When I give him the fullness of who I am, what I receive from him is he in his graciousness makes us right before him. This is the generation, verse 6. This is Zedor. This is the generation. Such is the generation seeking him, Dorash, investigating him, pursuing him, delving into who you are, O Lord. Seeking your face, your presence, even Jacob, right? So this word for seeking is bachash, which is like in the way you would say please in Hebrew is bavakasha. May I please, like a desiring, a request, one who is requesting the presence of the Lord. So as God's people, what even Jacob, what we're grabbing for, what Jacob, the heel grabber, but what we're grabbing for, what we're reaching for, is the presence of the Lord, seeking his face. That's what he desires. Verse 7. And there, I think he's gone. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that or not, but that one maybe came through. Now there's another lifting up. I'm not going to lift up. I'm not going to lift up my soul in emptiness. Rather, I want to lift up a blessing that's given to me from the Lord, his righteousness. And so now, whenever you would welcome a king, the place where all the decisions are made in a city, the place where everything is decided, is at the gate. The gates of the city in the ancient world, in ancient Israel, that's where business deals were made. That's where lawsuits were handled. That's where the courts, everything happened at the gates. Justice was brought forth at the gates. This is the ruling place of the city, is the gates. Right. So Whether you're talking about the city or you're talking about yourself, the gates, whatever it is, that place that rules, the place where all the decisions are made. It says, lift up your heads, O gates. O gatekeepers, or you, the chief, the ruler, ruling part of you. Lift up your heads and be lifted up, you everlasting doors, as in open up, and the King of glory will enter. And he will enter, Melech HaChavod, the King of glory, the weighty King. Who is this King of glory? Who is this? Mizeh Melech HaChavod. Who is this King of glory? Who is this glorious King? Adonai, strong and mighty. Adonai, mighty in battle, or mighty from the battle. Verse 9, lift up your heads, O gates. The ruling part of, lift up your heads, O gates, and lift them up, you everlasting doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is he? It says, Mihu. Who is he? This King of glory. The Lord of hosts, Adonai Tsevaot. He, emphatically, he is Melech HaChavod, the glorious King. I am his. I am his. Am I ready for his presence? Is my life and my heart, who may enter? Who can be ready? Lift up your gates. Let him come in and rule. Not lifting up your names, his name in emptiness, not lifting up our lives in emptiness, or lifting up our words with deceit, but fully, truly recognizing the earth as the Lord's and all that is in it. I am his, and everything in me. Open up and let the King of glory enter in, and let him be who he is, fully king and ruler of every part of my life, and not say, is that enough already? Don't I get a say in this? Don't I get to be king over this part of my life? Or for the ladies, don't I get to be queen over this part of my life? But rather fully submitting to him. Psalm 114 gives us this other imagery of submission. It says when Israel came out of Egypt, right, and Egypt being out of bondage, the word Mitzrayim is mitzarim, tsar being distresses, bondage, like chains, tight places. So from bondages. When Israel came out or was brought forth, in coming forth from bondages, Jacob's house from a people speaking unintelligibly or foreign speaking. I didn't understand what they were saying. In that place, Judah became his holy, his kadsho, was kadosh, his holy place, or his set apart place, his set apart ones. Israel, his dominion. Right? And when he brought us out of bondage, he brought us out, and we became his dwelling place, his sanctuary, set apart, the place where he rules. And in reflecting upon him bringing us out, verse 3 says, the sea saw. Like they saw him, right? But the sea saw and fled. So that's pointing obviously to the Red Sea. That it fled. It saw him, and it says, and the Jordan, as we went into the land, right? The Jordan turned backward. It turned around backward, like to make way. The mountains skipped or danced around like rams. The hills like lambs. Verse 5. Well, why? It says, Malacha, what is it to you, O sea? What happened to you, O sea? Why was it that you fled? And this why was it, this Malacha is like the, what's that math property? The associative property that applies to everything here. This why was it? Why was it, O sea, that you fled? Why was it, O Jordan, that you turned backward? Why was it, verse 6, O mountains, that you skipped like rams? Why was it, O hills, like lambs? Verse 7. Verse 7 opens up with the presence of the Lord. The opening line is, it's milfene or pane adon, from the presence of the master, from the face of the master. Tremble, O earth, at the presence, at the face of the God of Jacob. Right? So here he comes, the king returning. The king's returning, and this earth submits to him. That the sea submits to him. The Jordan River submits to him because he founded it upon the seas. He founded it, he established things upon the rivers. The mountains and the hills, or the word for hills is, oh, heights. How did you become like children of sheep, lambs? Right? You become, tremble, shake, recognize the face of the master who is in charge at the presence of the God of Jacob. Verse 8, this verse, the opening line is the one who transforms. The one transforming the rock into a pool of water. Right? He's the transforming one. That what he touches transformed. The one transforming the rock into a pool of water. The one transforming the flinty rock or the hard rock into a fountain of water. Right? So that which is hard, that which is unmovable, that which you don't, a rock is like the opposite of a fountain. And yet when he shows up, everything has to respond to his presence. Right? So that the hardness turns into a place of flowing water, of refreshing. He transforms the rock into a pool of water, the hardened rock into a fountain of water, preparing our hearts for the king's return. Means every part of me should respond, should bow, should turn back and make way for him to come. Make way for my own heart, the hardness of my heart, the areas of my heart that become hardened to him to be softened and to be a place of refreshing, life-giving water. Psalm 144, we'll finish with this one. Psalm of David. Blessed be Adonai, my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. He is my chesed, my loving kindness. He is my fortress. He is my tower and my deliverer, my shield in whom I take refuge, who subdues my people under me. Right? That this the subduing it's the imagery of when one flattens metal that they can then form. That's the language here. To subdue, it's language that it's literally the literal usage is the flattening and rolling of metal sheets for kind of veneering purposes, that he subdues and shapes. Adonai, what is man? Ma Adam, what is humanity? That you take note of him, or that you observe him, that you would perceive him. Or the son of man, and uses the word ben anosh, the son of mortals. The son points to our weakness, our fragility, to our terminal nature. Why do we matter that you know us, that you, the children of dying people, of fragile people, that you think about him, that you consider him, that you calculate, that you count concerning him. Verse 4, humanity is compared to a breath. Right? It's like hevel. It's like a breath, no substance, just futility. His days are like a passing shadow. So, Lord, since we're so frail and we're so fleeting, we say, Lord, what we What are we to you? But watch what the Lord does. Adonai, part your heavens. Would you just come to us, Lord? I recognize that how can I, who am so mortal, I'm so frail and fleeting, why would I seek to be king, even of my own life? Lord, would you come? Rescue me. Be king over this earth. Be king over me. Be king over my heart. Adonai, part your heavens and come down, touch the mountains so they smoke. Verse 6, flash forth lightning and scatter them. Send out your arrows and confuse them. Stretch forth your hands from on high. Snatch me, deliver me out of deep waters, right? Out of the hand of foreigners, or it's the hand of foreigners. It speaks to B'nai Nechar, speaks to the children of the foreign, or the verb can mean pretenders, those who misrepresent. Snatch me out of this, what I don't understand, out of what is confusing to me. Would you bring me out of this? Oh, when the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of bondage, right? From a people of foreign tongue or of unintelligible speaking. Bring me out of out of this strangeness, Lord. Stretch forth your hands from on high. Snatch me, deliver me out of deep waters, out of the hands of foreigners, whose mouths speak falsehood, whose right hand is a right hand of falsehood, or of shacher, of deceit, of pretense. Right? Only in your rule, everything around, I can't trust in anything. I can't depend on anything, but I can depend on you. I want you to be king. I want the flinty rock to become a flowing water. Lord, would you snatch me out of deep waters, out of this confusion, out of deception? Verse 9 says, God, I sing a new song to you. On a 10-string harp, I sing praises to you. You who, verse 10, who gives salvation, who gives teshua, who gives deliverance, rescue, salvation to kings, who rescues your servant David from the evil sword. Snatch me, deliver me out of the hand of pretenders or foreigners, whose mouths speak falsehood, whose right hand is a right hand of deceit. Verse 12, then, Lord, if you deliver us from this, when the king comes, when we have fully submitted to his rulership, what is the result? Then our sons will be like plants, nurtured in their youth, our daughters like corner pillars, carved for the construction of a palace. Right? There's beauty, there's strength, there's stability, there's life. Verse 13, our storehouses are full, supplying every kind of produce. Our flocks increase by thousands and 10,000s in our fields. Our oxen bear a heavy load. There is no breach, no going into captivity, no outcry in our streets. Ashrei, happy, content are such a people. Blessed are the people whose God is Adonai. Blessed are the people when the Lord is their God. When we prepare our hearts for his return to say, be the Lord of all of me. I am yours, every part of me. Every decision I make, my whole future. I trust your wisdom, your ways over my own. Every part of me. Turn my flinty rock into a spring of living water. Happy are the people, are such a people. Blessed are the people whose God is the Lord. Amen? All right, well, Lord, we ask that you would give us ears to hear what your Spirit speaks to us. Open our hearts to understand. Lord, break up the flinty rock, and may the flinty rock of our hearts become a flowing water, Lord, that is nourishing, that is your living water, nourishing the hurting and the broken around us. Lord, be the King, be the ruler of all the earth, be the ruler of all of me, of all of each, of every part of us. May you be glorified. Give us ears to hear your voice, Spirit of the living God. Give us eyes to see. May we see ourselves through your eyes. Lord, and may we have the strength, Lord, to lay down our lives, to take up our crosses and to follow you and to trust you, that if we look to cling to our lives, to rule, to hold on to lordship, we'll lose them. But if we will let go and surrender to you, we'll find life. Lord, may we walk in that in Yeshua's name. Amen. Amen. Well, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, shalom. Have a beautiful evening.